we'll be doing two things. The first, I'll be showing you how to make a back pocket and how to join the front piece to the back piece. So we'll be using two pieces to make the back pocket, which is already whipped at the edge. That's the first piece, and that's the second piece we'll be using to make the back pocket. It's also whipped on the edge. The next thing will be the pocket material itself, white plain material. So we've already attached our interface to the trouser, so we'll be folding into two and notching to get the position our dart will start from. So that is actually the beginning position of the dart. So we're making a dart of 2.5 inches downwards. Our dart is 2.5 inches downward because this trouser is actually for a kid. So the dart will also be facing the curve slant. So as you can see, the dart is 2.5 inches downwards. So our back pocket will start thereafter. So we'll be going straight to the marking out of the back pocket. So we'll be taking a 1.5 inch horizontally and a 3 inches vertically. So we'll be getting a cross mark. So we'll be taking our vertical 3 inches downwards, then we'll be taking the measurement of the back pocket itself, which is 4.5. So as you can see, we've gotten our back pocket measurement. So we'll be going straight to the making process. So the next thing we'll be doing will be to transfer the measurement inwards, and we'll do it for the other position. So we are doing this so that we can place the back pocket material to cover the back pocket. So you will see it now. So when we are placing the back pocket material, we'll make sure it is at least 1 inch wider than the position at which the back pocket will begin and end. So as you can see, it is 1 inch wider on that part and also 1 inch wider on this other part. So that justifies that. So the next thing, we'll just carefully turn it back to the front, place our two pieces, which we'll be using to make the back pocket. The bigger one will be at the down part. We'll be sewing on that, and the smaller one will be at the top. I'll be sewing from that point to the other point of the measurement mark we made initially, and we'll also be sewing the top too. So as you can see, we've sewn both, so we'll be going straight to the notching process. So as you can see, the sewing also reflects on the back. So you fold, use your scissors to notch, then from the hole you use your scissors to notch that way. When it gets to like 1/2 inch before the end, you slant downwards and you also slant upwards, but making sure your notch doesn't touch the thread. You go, when it gets to like 1/2 inch before, you slant upwards and you also slant downwards. So I'll be showing you here with the scissors. When I get to like 1/2 inch before the end, I'll bend upwards, making sure my scissors doesn't touch the thread but almost at the point of touching. So I'll stop, go back, then cut downwards, making sure my scissors is almost at the edge but it won't touch the edge, and I'll stop. I'll bend over and face the other part, do the same, cut up to almost 1/2 inch before the end, then I bend upwards, making sure my scissors doesn't touch the thread. I'll come back to the initial 1/2 inch before, and I'll notch to the other part again, making sure my scissors doesn't touch the thread. If your scissors does not touch the thread, it will give you a perfect bending when you are bending. So what you have succeeded in doing is creating two arrowheads, one at this part and the other at the other part. So you now have two arrowheads. So you can see what we've gotten. We'll go straight to the making of the back pocket. We'll bend the upper part totally inwards, everything inwards. Then for the down part, you bend 1/2 inch. You're bending 1/2 inch because the distance between the front line and the upper line is 1/2 inch. It depends on how big the distance between both lines is. That will be what will determine how big your back pocket will be in terms of height. So we're bending half inch, we're folding half inch, and we are bending, and we are putting the remnant inwards after bending half inch. So half inch will be the height of our back pocket. So you've seen what we've done here. We use our scissors to enable the penetration of the pieces inwards. So we'll do the same for the other part. You can see our arrowhead is already showing. The arrowhead is very important in the making process of the back pocket. So after doing that, the next thing we will do will be to sew our arrowhead down. So you hem it down by sewing it with whatever is underneath it. So you sew it down on that part like that. You go to the other part and you also sew it down. So after sewing it down, as you can see, we've just sewn both down. So that is what will give it the strength it needs to stand firm. There are also some sewings we will do, but there's actually no need since we'll be putting our buttonholes. So the buttonhole will be hemming it down for us. So now we'll trim the excesses. The excesses we are trimming off are all the excesses before the line we sewed down initially. So that arrowhead we sewed down is actually the beginning point. So the remnant will be what we'll be cutting off. So every part we are cutting off now is just after that sewing line. So that sewing line is actually the beginning point. So we'll be cutting off other protruding parts will be like the excesses we'll be cutting off. So the next thing we'll be doing, I'll be going straight to the matching down of the two pieces. So we'll sew that two pieces on the pocket material like that using a white thread. So as you can see now, we'll be using a white thread because you don't want your thread to be of different color to your pocket material. Whatever color of the pocket material you're using will actually be the color of the thread you'll be using. So after that, you bend your pocket to depth and use your pressing iron to solidify the line. So I've gotten my bended line. The next thing I'll be doing will be to fold. You fold all through like that and you bend. So as you can see now, I'll bend. So everything I'm sewing now, I'll be using the white thread. So after bending, I'll get to the point where that point where the upper part and the lower part ends. Then I'll bend the pocket material inwards like that. And in more successive lectures from this, I'll show you the reason why we actually bend that pocket material inwards like that when I got to that point. So I will sew to this point, then bend, then sew upwards to like that. So after getting that, the next thing I'll be doing now will be to join the other piece I use in making the pocket and the back pocket with the upper part of the pocket material. So I'll bend like that, arrange the material, make sure everything is well arranged, because any mistake will affect the posture of the whole pocket. So after bending, I will make a small open, start my sewing from there, match it downwards. I'll continue going on. I will just sew on the whip line. I will continue going inwards with my white thread. So the main process is just adding this to that. That's just what I'm trying to explain. So after doing that, you've seen what we got. I'll just notch the other part so that when I'm bending, I will not make a mistake. So I'll bend just like I bended the other part. So you bend from the beginning, you bend to where both stops. When you get to where both stops, you now bend totally inwards. So when I get to where both ends, I will not bend totally inwards like that. Like I said, in more successive lessons, I will show you the reason why we are bending inwards like that at the upper part. So the next thing we'll be doing now will be to top stitch. You top stitch the pocket material to the trouser material at the top there. So after top stitching, which you can see, the next thing will be to trim off all excesses of the pocket material. So after doing that, you confidently whip. So after whipping, maybe use your pressing iron to press if you like. If you don't, you can go straight to the buttonhole making process, and that is folding the welt pocket into two. you fold it into two, and this is to give you your buttonhole position. So after folding into two, you use a chalk to make a line, and that will be the line you'll be making your buttonhole on top, because that is actually the center point between both pockets. You can bend into two, or you can make use of your tape rule to get the center point. So after getting our buttonhole, that is what we got. So we put button at the end of the whole sewing process. So the next thing will be to join our front piece to our back piece. So we'll just easily join the front piece to the back piece like that. Then our sewing allowance is 1/2 inch, like you all know. Just make your 1/2 inch sewing all through like that. What you get will be a little bit rough. So what you do is you put a little bit of water in between the seam allowance, and you use your pressing iron to open all through. So you use your pressing iron to open all through. So after doing that, you get something as perfect as this. So this is for the back pocket and the joining of the front and the back piece. We'll be going straight to the next step of the trouser, which will be the fixing of the zip. That will be in the next video I'll be dropping. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and thank you for watching.